Hi guys, so this is my narrative speech. So here it goes. Back in the day, when I was just a young buck, attending school before college, I struggled so much. I was not the best student and I didn't feel like school was very important, nor did I feel very important when I went to school. I have learned a lot since then and I will tell you how it happened. When I was a kid, I loved school. I was a great student and I always went on my way to do a good job and impress my teachers. After switching schools a few times, I began to struggle. I started out with a lot of friends and a lot of familiarity, and that was taken from me multiple times. I shifted my outlook on life being a teenager and being socially awkward and the new kid from time to time. I was often alone and I felt like I was an outcast because everybody already knew everybody, and I just had no idea how to get involved with people because I was very shy and I had anxiety beyond belief. I didn't even recognize what that feeling was back then, and that it was anxiety. But I realized it stopped me in my tracks, time and time again. And I always kicked myself for not being more social, and I was very lonely. I was doing all right in school, but it made it so hard to want to go when I felt miserable inside. After time went on, I met some people I could finally relate to. And things started to look up for me, and going to school every day became easier. I was so focused on this new exciting life, and I was so blinded by it that I shifted my focus onto mainly my social life and trying to maintain it. I would then lose focus in class and daydream about things that were really not important, no matter how dire they seemed at that moment. I finally had some relief in the social aspects, but then half the time I still felt like a loner. I didn't get along with the majority of the kids, and that's because they never took the time to actually get to know me, but instead would make fun of me at times. I did not feel welcome, and I hated class so much that I would just shut down, and during that time, until I had the chance to feel happy again with my people who accepted me and the realm I fitted into. School was never my best subject. I focused too much on other people being in my life that I let my grades slip. I never seemed to be able to find the balance of life back then. It was so different to finally have somewhat of a social life from having an non-existent one before that I just couldn't focus. I got caught up in petty drama, fake friendships, etc. I wound up nervous trying to make things work all the time. I was a good person, but even then, people would fabricate stories about me to look bad. And after a while of feeling comfortable with people I thought were friends, I soon to find out that they are anything but. I randomly came to school one day to find out that some very innocent yet personal information about me was viral on campus. Things nobody had any right knowing, yet now everyone seemed to know, and therefore they assumed I was a certain type of person and automatically shamed me. I was then made fun of frequently and did not help my desire to come to school. It felt like torture, like a jail sentence to have to come to school every day. I dreaded waking up each morning because God knows what was in store. I was depressed and humiliated and slandered amongst the campus. I really had nobody to talk to because I couldn't tell if they were going to use it against me or if it would wind up public information. I felt like I couldn't even talk to my family at times because they were already making assumptions about my behavior and not welcoming the life I was living. I wound up shutting down and not caring about anything. I let my grades slip and I just began to ditch my most miserable of classes. Skipping some classes just led to the thought of why even show up. So I would make shift forged notes to get myself out of school. I was so relieved to get away from everything and everyone. I felt like I could finally breathe. I wound up trying to make up for the days missed though, and God, I was behind. It seemed to pile up so quickly, and it was a downward spiral from there. By the time I got around to my schoolwork, I was too late or wasn't given another chance because I wasn't taken seriously, because I wasn't taking school seriously. I even did the makeup work at school to save my grade enough to not have to flunk. And the teacher went ahead and failed me anyways after giving me some hope. I really did try during that time to redeem myself too. I missed so much class I was threatened with truancy and going to juvie potentially. I wound up feeling so unwelcome and hopeless and wound up getting out of school and trying online classes in high school. But from there, I got everything I needed to do online schooling, but I had no structure and I was there to learn this by myself. It was ultimately confusing. I had no idea about online school and I was supposed to just get it, I guess. I had no one available to help me with my school and I wasn't doing it correctly, and lo and behold, I failed that. At that point, I totally dropped out of school. It was absolutely freeing. I knew that it was shameful, and I knew it was never what I ever imagined I would be doing. But man, did it feel right at that time. I felt like I could find myself and be around those who accept me and learn to accept myself and blossom into someone with a healthier personal mindset. I didn't have to deal with people trash talking me. I didn't have to be ridiculed. It was amazing. I never had to deal with teachers who didn't want to help me because they just didn't seem to want to take the time to see what was actually going on with me before failing me. Nobody ever asked what was going on. I just knew I was always in trouble or very close to it. I wound up getting my GED all on my own, and it opened up my eyes. They told me that even if I didn't have the money to take my tests, that it could be paid for by charity. I took the time to study and focus while I was attending and wound up successfully getting my GED. They informed me about getting financial aid and automatically being able to get my diploma after obtaining a 2-year degree. This intrigued me. I began looking into this. I spent years filing out the FAFSA application on and off, debating if I had enough discipline to take a leap of faith and go to college. I had no idea what I even wanted to be, which set me back a few years. So during that time, I just kind of floated around building my resume with dead-end jobs. I was broke and I was miserable. And I didn't have any skills really from schooling or work experience, and it was a huge struggle. I did not like to rely on other people to assist me, and I did not feel welcome asking for help. I eventually got pregnant, which made me panic because my money situation was not going to work. I wound up getting an even better paying job during my pregnancy, and I worked until I was 8 months pregnant and caught a bug that would just not go away. Then I had my kiddo, and I found time to work 2 separate jobs here and there to make sure my baby had everything he needed. I worked so hard to make sure he wouldn't have to go without. I realized at that point that, man, I am so dedicated and can be such a hard worker. I can do anything. I started shooting for the stars and tried for any kind of job that was out of my league because I felt that no matter what it was, I could do it if I was just shown how. But then I moved back to my hometown and I thought, oh man, the jobs here are slim. Everything I saw was either low paying or you had to have a degree of some sort or traveling away from your home life. I did not like the idea of being back because I remembered that it was like this before I had left. But when I moved back, I began to reinvent myself. I focused on my son, my health, my happiness, and my work. I was loving the way things were going for myself because I did the footwork to getting myself these opportunities. I was happy with myself, which led me to meeting the love of my life. And during this relationship, I was able to actually have a support system. My boyfriend gave me the nudge I needed to begin something more. I had dreams, he listened, and he helped me just to take that leap of faith and just go for it. I finally had the emotional support to take this journey of college. My little family, it was so encouraging. That soon it became easier than I originally thought. I came into it being overwhelmed and scared and freaked out that I couldn't take an online class because I failed as a youth. Once I got my feet wet though, and saw that if I dedicate the time, I could pull it off. It changed everything. I've been in college now for a good year and some change. And after I get my AA degree, I'm going to be shooting for my bachelor's. My son even asked me if he's going to go to college, and I told him I think it'd be really beneficial. When I was talked to about college when I was a teenager, everyone else just made it seem like a financial trap that would send me into debt. I'm so glad that I'm seeing for myself that this is not a trap at all for my situation. I feel it is an opportunity to flourish for me. And it is so motivating knowing I can kickstart my life with having this knowledge under my belt. So, it goes to show that even if you struggled and it wasn't easy for you, things can look up. Life's a battle sometimes. Maybe you're not on the right path. But once you find it, things will look up. And I am so happy that I changed my outlook on life and decided to go to college. I never in my life would have imagined that I could be doing successfully at college when I failed so often as a youth. I'm so happy to see the light and to see my potential. I want to be an inspiration to those who have had the same interruptions in their life. I've overcome having no money, no education, having a baby while being broke, having no support system, and now I am making it happen, pushing myself ahead, juggling my everything. And even though I was struggling before, I now am happy to say thriving. And you can be too. Just look deep inside yourself and see all that you are and everything you could possibly be capable of. Life's an adventure. You just gotta find your own path to take. Once you do, it could be a wonderful thing. Which takes me to one of my favorite quotes. I never said it would be easy. I just said it would be worth it. Thank you.